Do you see it?
Yeah.
In our culture, you don't dare reach out and connect with another human. Oh, I'm too afraid. What if they're offended? Yeah, that's why we're in the problem. That's why we're in the world that we're in now. Because I came from an era, and I'm Italian. Any Italians in here? Italian, right? La Familia, huh? You know it. So, all my life, you hug people. You're open and you're kind to people. And it's interesting to me, I believe that there is a direct correlation. I think there's a direct connection between what is happening in our culture where you don't dare touch somebody and the anger that people feel. People feel so alone and isolated. And people that I've met over the years at conventions, 500 at a time, appreciate the hug and the kindness and that openness. And just a couple don't. You know, just a few. But it ends up ruining it for everybody. Because suddenly you're afraid to just reach out and be kind to somebody. And they may desperately need that. You know?
It would appear that things are beginning to get worse over on Twitter, as both I Stand With Vic and Kick Vic are clashing, but not only clashing in ways that are unpragmatic, but members within the Kick Vic movement are trying to further justify everything that's happened within the last few days, with the Funimation audio leaks, having to blame Chuck Huber for standing with Vic, as we're going to be taking a look at everything here today to further see what's going on objectively within Twitter that further affects the case of Vic Mignogna against Monica Rial and Ron Toye. As once more before we begin, if you are new to this channel and want to be kept up to date with all things involving Vic Mignogna, Monica Rial, Ron Toye, and many of the news and updates involving the Vic Mignogna case, then be sure to go on ahead and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to never miss a single upload. Be sure to go on ahead and slap a like down below by giving this video a big thumbs up if you guys do stand with Vic, as well as making sure to check out and subscribe to my main channel over at UnrealNetwork, to where there you guys will be able to find lots of anime and Dragon Ball content that you guys will not get to find on here. And follow me at Twitter at UnrealNetwork to stay connected with me at all times. And if you have anything you would like to share or tag me in involving Vic Mignogna or any of the parties involved in this case, then be sure to go on ahead and follow me at Twitter. Now, to kick things off, a few days ago we had the affidavits of Chuck Huber and Chris Laytosh, the owner of Kamehacon, drop in defense of not only Vic Mignogna but having to show irrefutable factual evidence via text from Ron Toye and Monica Rial, having to pressure Chris Laytosh into basically being bribed and blackmailing him in the fact that they were going to offer him money just to simply keep Vic Mignogna away from Kamehacon. Now, a lot of these people, along with the audio leaks from Funimation, are trying to justify the actions of said individuals such as Sean Schemmel, Chris Sabat, and many of those involved with the Funimation leaks. But one of the most interesting factors that came out of this was the supposed casting couch from Chris Sabat, and we have Mars Girl over on Twitter who's trying to further justify this by having to state, and I quote, "Hey, if he's so offended by Sabat's casting couch," referring to Chuck Huber, "ask him if he's cool with Vic directing an anime and letting his 30-year younger hairdresser side girlfriend take an additional voice's credit." Now, again, what does this have to do with Chris Sabat's casting couch? What does this have to do with Chuck Huber's statements and the fact that Funimation was a toxic place to begin with? And this is coming from somebody who's been working there for over 20 years, right? So whose factual statements are we going to take into account here? Are we going to take Chuck Huber's, or are we going to take Caitlin Saucedo, an idiot on Twitter who has absolutely no knowledge as to what it is she's talking about, but not only that, is a massive hypocrite in her stances, backpedals on all of the information provided, and I love how once it was revealed that Chris Sabat may have some alleged casting couch within his studios or Funimation, immediately people like Caitlyn go back and having to cry out, wait a minute, but what about Vic? Vic directed an anime, and weirdly enough, he had his quote side girlfriend have additional voice notes in the credits. Well, okay then, Dumbo, why don't you prove the fact that she was indeed his quote side girlfriend? Why don't you indeed further prove the narrative that since he was directing this anime, that she had to do some extracurricular activities in order to further gain additional credit in the anime he was directing? I see what you're trying to insinuate here, and the best part about it all is the fact that you have absolutely no irrefutable evidence to back up your claims, because you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, you're very biased in your stance. Did you know that a lot of people actually stood with Kick Vic until all of the supposed evidence you had to frame the guy in being the monster that you paint him out to be was clearly debunked by the entire community? This community, the people watching this video, are the same individuals and people that called you out for your lies, for your hypocrisy and your BS, and the first thing you do, instead of either owning up to your BS and your lies, or refuting said arguments or statements with actual facts of your own, you decided to block everybody because you're a complete coward. Which is why I also encourage you guys to share these videos, because you will see firsthand how these people are trying to twist everything. And another good example of this is Dominique Sky on Twitter, as Emish's Live went along ahead to clap Dominique in her stance as she went along to tweet, and I quote, "Didn't Chuck Huber start a church, gamer church, to avoid paying taxes? I mean, aside from all the stories of being a flat earther and a 9/11 conspiracy theorist, totally credible." Again, what does being a flat earther or a 9/11 conspiracy theorist have anything to do with Vic Mignogna and the statements being put out by Chuck against Monica and your friends at Funimation, right? As Emish's Live went along to tweet, and I quote, "Your side piece holds casting couch sessions. Your BFF weaponizes real assault victims and is engaged to a wife beater, etc. Why is credibility even a question? Did Chuck Huber claim to see a UFO? He pointed out a bunch of garbage cans, your idols, and said that these are garbage cans." And that's exactly what he did. Chuck Huber simply pointed out his work environment, the hypocrisy behind Funimation, and how everybody was basically hugging, kissing, even to some extent being with each other physically, romantically. So how is this an issue? Why is that disregarded? But the minute Vic Mignogna goes along ahead to hug somebody or compliments their hair by having to touch it gently, not pulling, all of a sudden this is an issue, right? So what Dominique is doing here is she is projecting her own bias now towards Chuck after realizing that she and all of her friends are completely full of crap. And our nerd culture also went along to say the same thing, as they went along to tweet, and I quote, "This is disgusting. She is now attacking Chuck Huber for speaking against her lying sack of crap friends, Monica Rial and Chris Sabat. Sky had been gaslighting this and lying for months now. Share this for the world to see. I stand with Vic. Expose these lying Kick Vic stands." Which again, a lot of people are beginning to see here that all of a sudden, nobody had a problem with Chuck, right? Nobody had a problem with him having to quote be a flat earther, or quote be a 9/11 conspiracy theorist, or quote having to avoid paying taxes by starting up a church, right? None of this was an issue until he came out and spoke against Ron Toye, Monica Rial, Jamie Marchi, Chris Sabat, Sean Schimmel. The minute Chuck went against these people, all of a sudden Chuck is a target. So do you see the pattern now? If you go against, I guess you could say, the hierarchy in this matter. So let's say, for example, if more VAs came out and they spoke against Monica and Sean and Sabat, these people are going to go as far as they can to make these other people out to be liars and hypocrites and monsters, just because their idols and their friends are being attacked and scrutinized for all of the garbage they've been mounting for many years. And it gets even worse because the local neighborhood idiot Therese27 took it upon herself to go to Twitter as she went along to state, and I quote, "Can we talk about how this guy, who has gained 1,000 bot follows in the last few days, is an actual homophobe because he keeps saying," and I quote, "same sex like it matters. Fortunately, Toye has an agent working directly with Funimation in Texas, and they are not depending on this guy for info." Now, this guy is supposedly someone that has direct connections with Toei Japan, and of course, because of him, Yahoo Japan and many other sources in Japan found out about the leaked audio from Funimation that happened a few days ago, but Therese, how do you know that this guy gained 1,000 bot followers? How are you going to immediately label him a homophobe just because he's saying same sex? How is that remotely homophobic in any sort of way? Therese is the biggest idiot in this fandom. I cannot stand Therese. She's the biggest liar, she's the biggest hypocrite, and she's the biggest idiot in this fandom. Nobody can refute that. And the idea that she goes based off of false narratives without any evidence, prove the fact right now that this guy has gained 1,000 bot followers. It's not like his tweets were blowing up because this guy had retweeted and posted comments of his own talking about the Funimation leaks that got picked up by everybody. It's not like people gain followers off of traction, right? But they have to be bot followers, right? Because people like you, cesspool idiots like you, tend to go with that narrative without providing any evidence. And then she goes on to cry out homophobe just because he said the word same sex. And keep in mind, guys, this is the same individual that went along to even put out a tweet stating that she doesn't know too much about this case, but she's only going based off of her fifis, right? Her feelings. And she has friends, Monica Rial, Jamie Marchi, so biasism at its finest, right? Why are you going to risk losing those connections by having to stand with someone that's quote an alleged monster when you could be within the loop and having to be a complete shill? And that's what Therese is, a complete and utter shill. And I don't care what anybody says because that's my own subjective opinion as to what I've been perceiving and seeing come from this individual. So I don't care what anyone has to say in defending her because the question is, what are you gonna do about it, right? And she has been one of the lead catalysts in just gaslighting all of this for months, because this case would have been quiet and been dealt with in court if the other side didn't go and take this on Twitter and yapping their mouths constantly, causing the I Stand With Vic movement to retaliate and having to clap back. So all of this is because of people like this. They refuse to keep their mouths shut, they refuse to stop slandering people on Twitter, stop defaming them, demonizing them, and then when they get their cheeks clapped back, they want to cry. That's not how the world works, but nonetheless, I digress. Because by the end of all of this, I want to get your thoughts in the comment section below. Who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? Where do you guys stand? And when it comes to this overall case, when do you guys think this is going to be over? Because now that we're in September, there's no telling as to when this case is going to cease, but I'm fairly certain that this has yet to blow over because there's still more to come. I want to get your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm going to leave you guys off with some clips that I want you guys to sit on and formulate your own opinions on. Again, guys, thank you all so much for your time. If, of course, you guys are new to this channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications to never miss a single video. Give this video a big fat like by slapping that thumbs up button, guys, if you guys are in support for Vic Mignogna. Follow me on Twitter at UnrealNetwork. The link to my Twitter will be located down in the description box below. If you guys have anything to tag me and if you guys have anything to share with me, then be sure to tag me and follow me on Twitter. As always, guys, make sure you guys subscribe to my main channel over at UnrealNetwork, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Take it easy, guys.
And I really think that there is a connection between the culture that is telling us, don't you dare touch anybody, don't connect, no human contact, because it could be offensive or it could be misconstrued. But I think there's a connection between that and the isolation people feel and the anger that they feel. It would never be my desire to hurt anyone. I would never in a billion years want to offend or hurt anyone. That has never been my intention or my desire.
That's why we're here.
Yes. I believe you guys know that about me. And so I just wanted to take a minute because, like I said, I sit around my house alone thinking about these things. Maybe too much. But I really believe that's true. I really believe that's true. So if you have people in your lives, hug them. You know, reach out and just acknowledge them. That little bit of human contact right there. Now, he could go home and say I assaulted him.
Not fair. Why am I getting picked on?
Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad? This is not assault, everyone. And you know what? It's actually an offense to people that are actually assaulted. I mean, think about that. You know, so I just want you guys to know my heart. That's all. I want you to know that I appreciate so much you guys being here and your kindness and your support for me and my work over the years. I have taken my position in this industry very seriously as long as I've been in it. I've seen it as something much bigger than just a job. I feel like it's been an opportunity to connect with people and to hopefully try to be a positive influence and an encouragement to people. And that's been the greatest privilege for me. And I really think that our culture has changed, and not for the better. I think people need that human contact, like that movie said. I think it's as valuable to us as oxygen. So I really hope, and you know what, there's so many more of us. Do you realize there are so many more good people in the world than there are the offended, outraged? There's so many more of us, but we go about our lives. We're responsible, we have jobs and we have families, we have relationships. We just go about our lives while this handful of people changes the whole landscape. And the majority of us are standing back on what's going on. Like, how is this happening? So you guys, be a voice for good. Be a voice for light and kindness and connect with people. Because you never know who in your life needs it badly. Sorry, soapbox is over.